What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out some of the brand new Link monsters that have been revealed in the Link Reigns Pack 2. A lot of people in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, myself included, are excited for this product, not to just see what type of direction Konami can take some of these archetypes in, but also what archetypes are going to be getting Link monsters. Still got my fingers crossed for Lunalites. Konami has revealed 6 of the archetypes so far and 6 of the monsters, and so far it is a bit of a mixed bag, but people I think have to remember that Link Reigns Pack 1 had a bunch of monsters in there, and some of the archetypes didn't get very strong Link monsters. The Glad Beast Link monsters, not good. The Archfiend one wasn't good, and Sectors, etc., etc. So far, I don't think that we've gotten the best of this set. I do think that there will be some Needle Fiber and Electromites and Assault level cards. I just think Konami hasn't revealed those yet. So we'll talk about 3 of the cards in this video, and then I'll do another video where we talk about 3 of them, just to make sure the video doesn't get too long. Without further ado, let's go ahead and break down first the Dragunity Link monster. So this was one that I kind of did expect, or at least I thought that Dragunity could definitely benefit from a Link, because Dux plus, Phalanx is boom, instantly 2 monsters on field, and that allows you to make this guy. This is Dragunity Knight Romulus. It's a Wind Dragon Link monster. Link 2, 1200 attack, and it points to the bottom left and the bottom right. So we saw a lot of that with Link 2s in the first Link Reigns pack, and we'll see a lot of it in this set as well. It requires 2 Dragon and or Winged Beast monsters except tokens. So again, Dragunity Dux plus Phalanx instantly summons this. It says you can only use the first and the second effects of this card as a hard once per turn. First effect says if this card is Link summoned, you can add 1 Dragunity spell / trap or Dragon Ravine from your hand, or excuse me, from your deck to your hand. Effect number 2, if a dragon monster is special summoned from the extra deck to your zone this card points to, you can special summon 1 dragon or winged beast monster from your hand in defense position, but for the rest of the turn, its effects are negated. Also, it cannot be used as Link material. I think the best application for this is probably Zephyros the Elite, because you can use that from the graveyard, not during the turn that you activate this effect, but Zephyros the Elite is a card that you kind of want in your graveyard for future turns for, your combos and whatnot. I don't really think that Konami nailed this effect, because Dragunity, what they really needed, in my opinion, was an extra normal summon so that they could continue with the Dux plays, because when you really think about it, Dux plus Phalanx has not been power creeped. It's still a level 8 synchro, and since Konami keeps giving us Omegas and Crystal Wing Synchro Dragons and Borreload Savage Dragons, we're getting good level 8 synchros. So I get that you can easily activate this by summoning 2 of the 3 monsters I just named, but I don't think that you really want to be honest. I just don't think that it's going to be all that important. Now, the first effect is great. Being able to get the Dragon's Ravine more consistently is obviously going to be really good. So I think more ways of getting to that is always going to be a good thing, because if you lose Dragon's Ravine, a lot of times in the early game, you do end up losing the duel. Getting Dragunity Divine Lance is actually pretty nice, because you can use that, you can equip it to Romulus, and then from there, you can get like Phalanx from your deck. Phalanx can either summon itself, and you can go into a Link 3 monster if you want, or you can actually summon, what's the level 6 monster? I'm going to mispronounce this damn thing's name, but the level 6 Dragunity, is it Maestlin? Whatever that card is, you can kind of combo off from Maestlin if you do get your Phalanx, like if you already have Maestlin in your head. That allows you to drop another level 8. That can be Borreload Savage Dragon, or that can be like an Omega. I think that's pretty good, but I do think that this card probably needed to have a normal summon, an additional normal summon rather than a special summon. It's an okay card overall. I think Dragunity players will definitely run it. Next up, we have an Alien Link monster, which was completely shocking to me. I didn't think that aliens were even in the running to get a Link monster. Truth be told, I kind of forgot that they even existed as an archetype, but now Konami has made Shock Trooper into a Link monster, so there's definitely that for you Alien fans. This is Alien Shock Trooper Mighty Frame. It's a light reptile monster, just like the original Shock Trooper. It is a Link 2, 1900 attack, bottom left, bottom right. 2 reptile monsters to summon, which is quite easy as long as you have Ammonite. Ammonite is basically like Blackwing Blizzard for the alien deck. You normal summon it, and you can get a alien monster that's level 4 or lower back from your graveyard to the field. So normal summon Ammonite, and boom, you can instantly make this. Both of the effects are hard once per turns. Effect number 1, quick effect, you can discard 1 monster, place a number of A counters on face-up monsters on the field equal to the original level of the discarded monster. Effect number 2, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a number of reptile monsters with different names from your graveyard, except Link monsters, up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with A counters. Okay, so I get what this card is doing. The problem is this card kind of just does more of the same of what aliens have always done, and obviously that plan has not been successful. The plan of basically just putting a bunch of A A counters on your opponent's monsters. When you really think about it, there are already enough ways of putting A counters on your opponent's monsters, but there's not enough good things to do when you get monsters that have A counters on them. I mean, yeah, there's a card like Mysterious Triangle. You can pop one of your opponent's monsters that has an A counter on it, and then you get to summon an alien monster from your deck. That's pretty nice. There's also Detonator Circle A, which blows up your opponent's monster and then does 1,000 burn to both players. But those are just not, they're not impactful enough in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Mysterious Circle pretty good because it is a quick play, but they need, what aliens need, they just need more ways of being able to do like amazing things to monsters that have A counters. You know what they need? They need like a quick play Regeki for monsters that have A counters, and you get to like draw cards equivalent to the monsters you destroy. Like they need something fucking broken to do when you put A counters on your opponent's monsters. Now, when it comes to the second effect, the effect where if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to special summon a bunch of monsters from your graveyard with different names, equivalent to the monsters your opponent has on their side of the field with A counters. People are saying, you know, you can use that with Snake Rain, but honestly, that just requires so much fucking setup. Snake Rain already requires a discard, then you got to discard to apply the A counters, and then you can't bring back Link monsters, so you can't bring back this card, and it's like, well, where exactly do you go from there? Honestly, I think the only card outside of Mysterious Circle that's really good with A counters is their Synchro, the Cosmic Fortress Golgar. That card's pretty good because it can pop anything on your opponent's side of the field, spells, traps, and monsters, but I don't know. I really don't think that this is going to help aliens at all. For the fans out there who play aliens, you know, I mean, it's cool to see aliens have a Link monster, and it's easy to go into. I just don't really think that it does anything for the archetype. Then finally, we have the Link monster that is among the most anticipated in the game, or at least that I can think of. A card that I predicted would be in this set because I said that people were going to speak it into existence. We have the DDD Link monster. It's definitely long awaited. This is a Dark Fiend monster. Well, excuse me. The name is DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh. It's a Dark Fiend monster linked to 1800 attack points bottom left and bottom right, as pretty much all the Link 2s do, it seems. It requires 2 DD monsters to summon, and as far as I can tell, what I've been told is that DDD monsters do count as DD monsters. So basically anything in the archetype can be used to summon this. And it says the first and the second effects are both hard once per turn. Effect number 1, if this card is special summoned, you can place 2 DD pendulum monsters with different names from your deck into your pendulum zones. If you do, take 1,000 damage. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except DD monsters. Effect number 2, if this Link summon card is destroyed by an opponent's attacking monster or opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 DD monster from your extra deck or graveyard in defense position. Okay, so from what I can tell and what I have seen online, everybody and their mama is shitting on this card, mainly because when you activate the first effect, you can only special summon DD monsters for the rest of the turn. People are like, oh my god, that kills the card, it makes it, but we don't care about no stinking pendulum scales. We want to be able to go into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon and Omega and etc, etc. And don't get me wrong, that definitely hurts the archetype, but you have to understand, DDD have so many damn extra deck monsters. Konami is obviously saying, look guys, we got enough monsters in this archetype when it comes from the extra deck, and there are a lot of good stun cards in there. There's Siegfried, that card can negate spells and traps. I think that you know, it really comes down to, I think in certain turns that maybe something like the Archfiend Link monster will be better because you just kind of want to use it as a vanilla scale, which you don't have to activate the first effect. People need to keep that in mind. You can just use this card and use it for its scales. At that point, maybe the Archfiend Link is better, or maybe you don't even need to use the Archfiend Link anymore because you can just use this. I think in certain turns, there will be turns where you don't need to special summon other monsters outside of the archetype. I mean, keep in mind, some of these pendulum scales have quite good effects. I know that Ragnarok has kind of like a Monster Reborn effect for DDD monsters built in to his effect when it comes to the pendulum scale effect. I know that, you know, people run Laplas, people run Savant Thomas, people run Kepler, which is a really high scale. So it does open up the ability to get full scales and then maybe pendulum summon. I think it is Savant Thomas's effect that lets you special summon one of your monsters by like blowing up your scale. So that can obviously be useful. Overall, I think that this card card is okay. I don't think that it's absolute garbage as everybody is saying. I think that there will be turns where you summon this card and you don't even use the first effect because you want to go into extra deck monsters outside of the DDD archetype. But overall, it's a card you're going to run. Like, let's be honest, you're going to run it just because of the link points, and I think that the effect 1 can be useful in certain turns. So you guys let me know what you think. The other 3 cards will be in the other video. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos and check out these other videos I know you'll enjoy.